Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Suspected drowning at sea in Hanover. The Sandy Bay Police in Hanover are probing a case of suspected drowning, which occurred in the community on Sunday morning. The deceased has been identified so far as Puno, a cabinet maker of Mount Pele in Sandy Bay. It is reported that the now deceased and other men from the community went fishing at sea on several small boats. It is further reported that while at sea, his boat overturned and he got pulled under the water. An alarm was raised and a search was launched. Around 10:45 a.m., his body was found and removed from the water. The scene was processed by the Sandy Bay Police. Dead man motor car found on roadway in St. Elizabeth. Police in St. Elizabeth are trying to unravel what led to the killing of a man at Casher in Slight District, St. Elizabeth, Sunday morning. The man, which preliminary investigations identified as 45-year-old Kevin Baker from a compound in the parish, was found dead on the roadway beside a motor car. It was reported that around 1:30 a.m., a police team and mobile patrol responded to a radio message that a body of a man was seen lying on a section of the Casher Main Road. The team responded, and on their arrival, the body was seen lying on its back in the middle of the road with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to the face. Police and fire brigade have responded to an alleged bomb threat at a gas station in Otuara, St. Anne. Several surrounding businesses have been evacuated. Traffic is also being diverted. Mrs. Semi-Salt saves woman after being hit with ganja-related charges. When Ingrid Carnegie was brought before Senior Parish Judge on Tuesday for marijuana-related charges, she stressed that Mrs. Semi-Salt. Carnegie pleaded guilty to the offenses of possession of ganja and dealing in ganja. She told the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court that it was the first time she was selling the drug, noting that she was quickly caught by police with 3 plastic containers containing 2.6 ounces of marijuana. Carnegie said she only decided to sell the marijuana because she needed money to pay for her daughter's upcoming primary school graduation, over $28,000. I get it and I just put it into something to sell it, just to build up the money, the woman said. Did you make any money from it? Presiding Judge Louis Cole Montague asked. Me never start sell it yet. As me go up at the place, them come and take out me something them, she answered. So you realize that life of a crime is not for you, the judge said. And the same thing me I tell myself, officer, Semi-Salt, Carnegie said. The judge, after learning that she is trapped for money because of her daughter's graduation bill and would be unable to pay the fine, told Carnegie to return to court on September 5th when her fines will be imposed. Homeless man hits 28-year-old woman in head with stone. A journey home from a crusade ended with blood drain after a homeless man, assumed to be of unsound mind, picked up a stone and threw it at a passing vehicle in the vicinity of St. Jacob Garden in St. Catherine. The stone flew through one of the back window of the Hyundai vehicle that a family was traveling in and hit a 28-year-old woman in the head last month, leaving her to find over $50,000 for multiple doctor visits and computerized CT scan and x-rays and medications. I saw the man reach back his hand for a rock, and the next thing I heard boom and the car glass break out, and realized that my cousin had gotten hit in her head with the rock. The rock passed 2 people, hit her so hard in the head that it ruptured and ended up in the front of the car at the front of the passenger seat. She was bleeding really badly, a family member who asked not to be named told reporters. It was raining, so there were puddles in the road. What was going on to a huge area with water, and there was a car in front of us. We saw a man flag down the car, so my mommy started slowing down a little bit. The woman said that they rushed to the Spanish Town Hospital and notified police via phone. At the hospital, she said her cousin had to get stitches. They then visited Spanish Town Police Station to make a formal report. We went there and the police basically told us that someone will be with us. We were there for about 30 minutes and we found out that it had happened to someone after us. The police never responded and the person ended up hitting someone else's car, she told reporters. She said they eventually left the station before making an official report because we had to go back to the hospital. Her cousin also had to go back to the hospital after getting the stitches to check out if anything had happened to her brain. On Friday, September 24, 2021, a policeman died after being hit on the head with a stone by a man of unsound mind in Lindsay, St. Catherine. His attacker was later shot and killed by police. A day later, nurse administrator at the Committee for the Upliftment of the Mental Health, Joyce Crooks, stated that removing mentally ill people from the street is not the solution for preventing incidents like the one that led to the death of the policeman. Speaking during a press conference on Thursday, February 17, 2022, Indicom Commissioner Hugh Faulkner said the police officers were using lethal methods in their de-escalation of situations involving mentally ill people. Meanwhile, Attorney Attila Bernard said where the criminal law is concerned, an individual of unsound mind can be arrested and charged. Section 9 of the Mental Health Act allows for it. In fact, it speaks to the fact that if they are found guilty, they can be held in a facility or in prison which should fit their needs. It is for that person is found by the jury to not be fit to plead to the crime, then they are committed, for example, assault, then they can be held at the king's pleasure, he told reporters. Bernard said that an officer had the right, as explicitly stated in Section 15 Mental Health Act, to arrest and detain a mentally ill person if that individual is found to be doing acts that are not within reason of any normal person or not legal. Essentially, the constable can arrest and detain a mentally ill person found engaged in illegal activities. For example, throwing stones at people's vehicle. Where the civil remedy is concerned, you can sue, but to what end when they have no means? The questions arise as to whether one will be able to find a mentally ill person to serve them documents and whether they have money to compensate their victims. And so Bernard said it would be a remedy that amounted to naught, given that it would not be effective and enforceable against a mentally ill person who has nothing in his name, as is the case of the lot of homeless persons on the street. And even though there are distinctions between the homelessness and mentally ill persons, one really and truly has to take into consideration that mentally ill persons are also homeless, he noted. So unfortunately, given the remedies or the lack thereof, one has to pray and hope that they don't fall prey to the acts of a mentally ill person. Psychologist Dr. Camille Campbell told reporters that there are many reasons as to why mentally ill individuals may end up on the road. There are limitations as it relates to housing for people who are mentally challenged, and some of them may need medication, and that takes money. Financing may not be available. There probably needs to be availability that is cost-effective for people, she said. This discourse, Bernard said, leads to solutions that need to be addressed and in some cases revisited. I think the government should perhaps have a program through the Board of Supervision, which falls under the Ministry of Local Government, to actually speak to some of these persons and see if they can do traces and gather information to find out who is their next of kin or who their children are. Citing Section 10 of the Maintenance Act, he said an elderly person or a parent can actually take action in a parish court or in the family court for the child to maintain them if they are found to be unable to take care of themselves. Within that framework, he noted, the government could help to actually honor those claims in the family court, bring their children to court, so that some of them can at least get the required help needed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification